Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the chilling world of serial killers, but not in the way you might expect. We're not here to glorify or sensationalize these crimes. Instead, we're going to dissect the myths and misconceptions that have become so ingrained in our understanding of serial killers, often fueled by popular culture. Why? Because understanding the reality behind these crimes is crucial for both investigative purposes and for preventing future tragedies. Let's be honest, there's a morbid curiosity that draws us to stories about serial killers. Is it the sheer incomprehensibility of their actions? The desire to understand the darkest corners of the human psyche? Dr. Scott Bond, a criminologist and former professor, has written extensively about this, suggesting that our fascination stems from a combination of fear, intrigue, and the desire to understand deviance. Like in his work, Why We Love Serial Killers, the curious appeal of the world's most savage murderers. Whatever the reason, this fascination has led to a proliferation of books, movies, and documentaries, many of which blur the lines between fact and fiction. And that's where the problem lies. These fictionalized portrayals often perpetuate harmful myths that hinder our understanding of these complex individuals and the crimes they commit. So, let's start debunking some of the most pervasive myths, shall we? One of the most common tropes is the idea of the serial killer as an evil genius, a mastermind with an IQ off the charts, meticulously planning every detail of their crimes. Think Hannibal Lecter or Dexter. While these characters are captivating, they're largely fictional. The reality is that many serial killers exhibit average or even below average intelligence. Their crimes are often opportunistic, disorganized, and driven by impulse rather than elaborate schemes. A study by Dr. Michael Stone, which analyzed the IQs of numerous serial killers, found that the majority fell within the average range, like in his book The Anatomy of Evil. Focusing on their perceived intelligence overshadows the more critical aspects of their motivations, which are often rooted in trauma, abuse, and deep-seated psychological issues. It's not about being smart, it's about a complex interplay of factors that lead them down a dark path. Another myth perpetuated by media is the idea of the signature, a unique, almost theatrical act that distinguishes each killer and supposedly reveals their psychological profile. Think of it as their calling card. While some killers might exhibit certain recurring behaviors, the idea of a consistent, easily identifiable signature is largely a fabrication. Crime scenes are messy, chaotic, and often influenced by external factors. A killer's methods can evolve, change, or even be abandoned altogether. FBI profiler Robert Ressler, who coined the term signature, has himself cautioned against over-reliance on this concept. Media often exaggerates and misinterprets these behaviors, creating a distorted picture of what a signature actually entails. In reality, focusing on specific, consistent behaviors is more helpful for investigators. The image of the lone wolf, the solitary figure lurking in the shadows, is another common narrative. While some serial killers do operate alone, the idea that all of them are isolated figures is simply not true. Many serial killers have accomplices, whether it's someone assisting with the actual crimes or simply providing emotional support or covering up their activities. The BTK killer, Dennis Rader, for example, involved his wife in some aspects of his crimes. Even those who act alone often have social networks, however dysfunctional, that play a role in their lives. Understanding these connections and social dynamics is crucial for investigators and challenges the lone wolf myth. This brings us to the often misunderstood practice of serial killer profiling. While profiling can be a helpful tool in investigations, it's not the magic bullet that Hollywood often portrays it to be. Profilers use behavioral analysis to develop a general description of the likely offender, including demographic characteristics and potential motivations. However, this is not a precise science. It's based on patterns and probabilities, not concrete facts. As the National Research Council has pointed out, the scientific validity of some profiling techniques remains a subject of debate. Profiling should be used in conjunction with other investigative techniques, like physical evidence and witness testimony, and not as a substitute for them. The danger lies in relying too heavily on profiles, which can lead investigators down the wrong path if not used carefully. So, there you have it, some of the most common myths surrounding serial killers, debunked. It's important to remember that these are real crimes with real victims. Sensationalizing these stories with fictionalized tropes does a disservice to the victims and their families and hinders our understanding of the complex factors that contribute to these horrific acts. By separating fact from fiction, we can gain a more accurate understanding of serial killers, which can ultimately help in prevention efforts and investigations. What other serial killer myths have you heard? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime content.